So we will get started with what is machine learning, why it is very famous today, okay, and what are different applications of machine learning. So as we know that today the applications that we have, whether it is a business application or a social media application, they are generating data at a very fast pace, right? And that data is being stored in systems which can handle big data. And also we can think about storage happening in the cloud layer. But this data that is getting generated nowadays is so huge that it is difficult to get the business insights out of it because of its volume, veracity, and different structured, unstructured nature of the data, right? And that's where today we need smarter systems that can go analyze this data and get the business insights out of it automatically with minimal human intervention. So that's where machine learning or intelligence in general comes into picture. So what we are trying to do with machine learning is that we are giving the power to the machines to understand the data, run some mathematical models on top of them, and get some insights out of it. Okay. So what that means is, for any machine learning project to succeed, the very first thing is data, right? You always need data, and the data that you have can be raw data which is having lot of noise or impurities. So that where we need a data engineer first of all, right? So there can be various systems which are generating the data, but this data can have a lot of noise, it can have a lot of impurities or a lot of ambiguities, duplicacies, right? Or maybe some corrupt data will be there. So first we need data engineers who can clean this data for us and make it in a form that is ready for any machine learning system to consume. So first of all, it's not that any data that you have can be directly fed into a machine learning system. That data has to go through some pre-processing. Okay. So in the field of machine learning, the very first thing we need to understand is that data and its quality is very important. Okay. So here we take help of data engineers. So data engineers are the software engineers who work on the data. They apply certain data cleaning approaches using Python, R, or a different kind of programming languages. Once this data is cleaned, then only we can fed it into a machine learning model, because our machine learning model, it is as good as our data. If our data is not good, if there are some let's say bad signals from the data, our machine learning model may not give us good results. So we will understand all those things in detail, that why data cleaning is very, very important. When we talk about a machine learning engineer, they have primarily two steps in which they work. The first is data handling. So almost 60 to 70% of the time goes in cleaning the data, okay, and making it in a form that is acceptable by your machine learning model. Now, what is a model? I will come in a while. And the remaining 30 to 40% of the time, it goes in actually using those models, the machine learning models, okay. So that is the very first thing that we should appreciate and understand, that a data engineer is a very crucial role, and it comes even before doing machine learning. Now, once you have the data, then the next step is to talk about machine learning. Now, what is machine learning? So machine learning is that your machine is trying to learn on itself some patterns which are hidden inside the data, If machine can learn all those information on its own, then it can mimic certain behaviors in future on the similar kind of data. So for example, let's say today you have some historical data in which for let's say certain input features, what are the target predictions. So let's say based on the properties of a mobile phone, you already know its prices. Okay, if this is the camera quality, this is the uh, RAM or the storage, this is the pixel and other features inside the uh, mobile phone, you already know its historical prices of different models, different mobile phone models. You can pass it into your machine learning system. Machine learning system can understand this data and the patterns inside it. When we say pattern is nothing but based on the combination of these inputs, what was the output? Okay, that is a pattern. Based on certain combination of inputs, what is the output? Okay, that is a pattern. So every machine learning model tries to understand a pattern. Okay, how it learns it, that we will also see later. But this is a very high level thing, that first we need data in a proper format. Once we have that, we fed it into the model. Model tries to learn certain patterns based on some mathematical equations. So these mathematical equations are important. And once model learns those patterns or those equations, it is easy to do future predictions based on the past learning. Okay, so that is what machine learning is. So like humans do go to schools, colleges and learn. Similarly, in the field of machine learning, we have a machine, means our computers, which has to learn. So now how will they learn? Based on the past data, where you already know the inputs and the output combinations, you fed it into the model, and then model will try to learn a mathematical equation. So ultimately, every machine learning model, when we say it is learning, it is trying to build a mathematical equation behind the scene of the type. Let's say we will talk about these equations: y equals to m of x plus c. So let's say this is a very common linear equation where we try to predict the value of y based on the value of x, where these two values m and c, these are two constants. Okay, now what are these constants, how they come into picture, we will talk about them. Okay, but at a high level, you need to understand, for every machine learning model there will be a mathematical equation. What is that equation? It can vary from model to model, and that's what we need to learn. Okay, so that's the very first two steps: the importance of data, and then how at a very high level any machine learning model uh, tries to learn something. It's nothing but generating an equation, and how it generates that equation, or the value of certain constants, is using this past data which is already in its cleaned shape. Okay, so that's what machine learning is.